Hi, I'm Julia and this is my shed. So we've got today, what I'd like to do is just finish off last few jobs on the valve gear. So we need to finish assembling the cross slide, or reassembling the cross slide on the right hand side. That's the main thing I think left now. If I remember, we'll pop these covers on. The big bit of work for today actually is on this assembly. I'm not really sure what to call this. I mean, normally you'd have a rod coming down which is called the reach rod, I think. So maybe we'll call that the reach rod screw, not really sure. So if you remember, the limiting factor with the valve gear was how far back in the crossheads they would go. And this is about as far back the way shaft can go before we start to have interference. So I need to put a collar in there just to limit movement any further forwards. And we'll probably need to put something on this side as well, just again to limit the movement. That's the first thing. The other thing is that at the moment there's nothing actually stopping the screw from pulling out backwards, so the collar would fix that. Friend John, when he looked at this issue, screwed the end of or tapped the end of this portion that goes through the bush and put a bolt on there with a washer, so that would stop it pulling through. So we've got a couple of options there. So I might do that, but that's sort of going to be the main thrust of today's work, I think. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll get on with it. So I'm just cleaning all the parts that need to be Loctited. I'm just going to use a Loctite to hold in the screws. It's quite fiddly getting these screws started. I think that's because I had to saw off the bottoms to get them the right length, and they're a little bit jagged on the ends, but we got there in the end. I'll say it was very fiddly to get these first few bolts started, but eventually we get there and get things attached. So that's the valve crossheads, slide bars going into place. Next little job was the screws for the piston crosshead drop link. If you remember, I made that using my CNC milling machine. So I'm just getting some shorter screws sorted out. Just had to shorten them using a little jig that I've made and shown you before. Okay, so we're going to get started on the collars for this now. I've moved it to each extreme that I want to go to. I've got about 7mm on this side and slightly smaller on the other side. So the limit on this side is where it's actually touching this bracket. So that's really as high up as it will go. And the limit on the other side is where it's touching the rear of the valve cross slide. So that's my limits at the moment. So I'm going to take this off now, measure the thread. I'm not sure if this thread is a reverse thread or not. I've got a few reverse thread taps, so we'll remove that now and make some collars. I mean, if the collars are threaded, it sort of makes adjustment a bit easier as well, doesn't it? So we'll give that a go. So as luck would have it, it's a standard M6 thread, so right hand thread, so that's not a problem. So I will thread the colours M6 while we're at it, I think. But somebody mentioned that my lathe was very dirty and they were finding it distracting, so I've given it a quick clean. So now we're going to make some brass collars. So just going to turn and face, and I'll bring you along for the ride. I think I mentioned before in the previous video that a few people had asked for real-time machining, so I'll carry on with that for a few weeks and see how people like it. Seems to improve my viewing figures a little bit, so I think we'll carry on with it for the time being. Just skimming that up so it looks nice. Little chamfer. With the centre drill, or slocum drill. So we're tapping M6, so it's M6 by 1, so it's a very easy tapping drill calculation. It's 5mm, the tapping drill. Doesn't matter if we overrun a bit on the hole. Okay, let's do some tapping then. So I've got a spring-loaded tap follower in the tailstock, which you probably can't see. Unfortunately, that you can see this isn't isn't particularly accurate, unfortunately. But it is ratcheting, which is quite handy. So the tap goes straight, it's just the handle isn't particularly straight. Not quite sure why. Probably because it's garbage. Okay, right to the end. I like to use the puffer. I've not copied this off Blondie Hacks. I had one of these when I used to do clock repair. But But they are a handy thing to have. Saves the old lungs a bit as well. So my metric taps, the taper tap cuts slightly undersize, and then the second tap, as well as being a slightly steeper taper, it also cuts a bit more, hence the delightful squeaking noise. Okay, I can just feel it tightening up, so we're near the bottom. Right, we're going in with the finishing tap. This just takes a little bit more off, I think, from the feel of it. It is cutting all the way in, which is a good idea, really. It sort of spreads out the stress on all three taps. I really ought to get a better quality one of these. Or re-engineer it. It's very wibbly wobbly. Right then, probably tell there's a little bit of a burr on there now, so we'll just use the hand deburrer. Nice. So next job is to cut it off to size. I'm going to make this 7.5. Always make it smaller. Just lock the carriage. Just put a drill on to catch it, so I'm not rummaging around in the pan. So I'll just start that off, and then I'll just break the corner a bit. Just makes it look a bit nicer. Sometimes you can remove the extra bit there. Not today. And that's the first part done. I will need to cross drill and tap this for a grub screw, but I'm going to just screw them onto this bolt. I've got loads of these, so that can be a sacrificial mount. So let's make the other one. So we've got this bolt clamped in square collet block. It's a 6 to 5 collet. I've just lined these up by eye really, they're not super critical. So we're going to drill and tap for M4, so that's a 3.3mm drill. That's the first one done. As it's only going to be like 3mm tap thread, so I'll do that off the mill, I think. Oh, so get set up to do the other one. As you can see, I threaded the collars off camera, so I'm now just threading the collars onto the reach rod, threaded rod adjuster thingamajig, and then I'm tightening up the grub screws to lock everything in place, and seems to be working really well. Okay, so I'm pleased with how these collars have turned out. They seem to be restricting the movement nicely. I'm able to change from forward to reverse gear without any problems. So I think what I'm going to do now is go through all of the split pins, which are just pushed in at the moment, and just open them out a little bit. Not all the way, probably, just but basically just to stop me losing them. And then I'm going to take it off the build stand, ready to go to the club on Thursday. So hopefully get some footage of this going around the track. And the idea really with that is to lubricate everything up and then just run it around the track for a few laps, just to see if there's any tight spots developing, and probably just to bed things in a little bit. Hopefully it'll just take off the high spots of everything. That might reduce the friction enough so we can then run it on air even with the PTFE valve heads. So that's where we're aiming towards. Yeah, so let's get bending clips. As you can see, Clio is completely underwhelmed, but it's nice to see the chassis out in daylight now. It's looking really good, though I say so myself. Yeah, we just got it on the hydraulic lifting table there, so I just thought I'd give you a quick once over. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, share and subscribe. Please leave a comment, I'm always interested to hear from you. What I'll do now is I took some footage pushing the chassis around the track. So if you want to have a watch of that, I'll include all the footage, and by all means switch off when you get bored. Anyway, see you in the next one. try running it in reverse. So.
Okay.
This is an
Let me go and do that. I don't know about
opportune moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it goes backwards, you see.
You sure it will?
Yeah, I've had to put these collars in to limit the...
Oh, I see the trouble.
Yeah.